All right, bro. Go ahead and get your beard jokes out of the way. Let's go ahead and just knock this out right now
What you talking
before we
about?
we start the podcast, man. Go ahead, because I've been getting them. My pops been going in on me. It's like, oh, you cut it. It's like, yeah, and so it's. Go ahead, man. Go and get your jokes off. So let's go and get this over with.
Bro, live your life, man. Live your life, man.
um.
I will say you do look younger, but that's not a joke.
All right. It's episode 44. All right.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, I know, right? Six more and we hit our 50. We're gonna do something for the celebration. All right. All right. I am back. Coming in hot and loud. That's what she said. But yeah, man.
Pause.
No, but no, for real. The the Bryson Tiller Diddy remix that me and Desh did. That Room 380 did. Sorry, because I gotta say that. Yeah, man. So shout out to Marcus Banks. Shout out to all my familia out in Miami. What up, TJ? Joining the chat. But yeah, they gave me a copyright strike, not only on Facebook, but also on YouTube. And I think I went on TikTok as well. So I was talking to Dre about it. And he was just saying, some things we probably could have changed or whatever, but they listening everywhere. Everything that has a content
Uh,
ID. So it is what it is. But yeah,
compulsory license.
yeah, yeah, they'll get you. But let's go and introduce the podcast. What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Hanz Nobe, music producer and co-founder of music production company Room 380. Here with my main man, project manager and R for Room 380. And today
Yes,
is
sir.
the 44th episode of the Capitalism R podcast. We're almost a real podcast. We're almost there.
We got about like 500 more episodes, but we getting there.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Waze, how's your Thanksgiving, man?
I mean, Thanksgiving was real smooth. I mean, outside of the kids being a little under the weather, we got to see the family, eat some good food, and live life. You know what I'm saying?
So, my family and I, we didn't really do much this year because we're still trying to recover from the move. And then we went to, well, last week, not this past week, but last week we went to Rivers' wedding. So again, shout out to Rivers and Victoria on them tying the knot out in Savannah.
Yes, most definitely.
And so this week we just kind of chilled, but I called myself trying to take a break from social media. I didn't realize how exciting but yet boring life is without social media. So they were like Monday, I was going strong. I was like, yeah, I'm chilling. Tuesday, it was like, I'm getting a little weak. And then Wednesday, I caught myself just scrolling through TikTok for an hour. So it was like,
Trying to see what's going on.
yeah. So like, I miss a whole bunch of stuff, man. But shout out to, I want to give a shout out. Well, dang it, I got to confirm something first because I think, let me not say it, but somebody I've produced with, I think they did something pretty cool. I don't think I'm at liberty to say it, but shout out to um shout out to them. But hey, shout out to just Black Twitter. I see after all the RIP posts, no one has gone anywhere, even after Elon Musk said what he said. So I just want to sit there and just do want to tell y'all Twitter isn't going anywhere. That's my stance on it. I know people are not thrilled about me saying that, but I don't think Black Twitter is going nowhere. I don't think Twitter is going anywhere. But I do kind of want to get into this whole thing that Isaac Hayes has with Fanbase. Wait, have you had a chance to join Fanbase?
So I have joined fan base. I'm not going front. It's been a little while since I've been on there, but I've been pretty much focused in school. So it's nothing against any particular platform. It's just I've quite literally been in master program mode.
What is massive program mode?
As in I've been sitting here looking at books, looking at programs, looking at assignments. If it hasn't been, as you say, business as usual, then I've
Mm-hmm.
more than likely been in a in a book or in a classroom situation.
Gotcha. So you don't have a life, is what you come in here every week and just affirm to us. Like you not only do you affirm like, hey, not only do I'm better than you all because I'm getting an education,
Oh,
but
definitely not.
also no, I'm just picking with you, man.
I'm about to say some people might say I'm a sucker for paying this money, but you know, knowledge is power. So get it how you live.
I I think the whole thing about the college education just going to evolve. I really do think that I think we were the last ones to benefit from college, and I think generation or the classes, because I was class of '09, so I think like 11, 12, 13, 14, I don't think they really benefited from it. So that's why the whole narrative is, college is over. I just think they're just going to go get the YouTube gurus that are giving out the real information and just go hire them. They're just going to go outsource it.
I'll be all the way honest with you. That is probably one of the most dangerous things I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? With regards to this quote unquote YouTube guru. And the reason why I say it is because there are legitimate people who are out there who are giving information, but 9 times out of 10, the people who are giving the information aren't necessarily always on YouTube. And then on the flip of the situation, you'll see these advertisements on YouTube that'll take you to these secondary marketing systems, and they'll basically run you an hour, hour and a half of your time with regards to information, only to tell you that you need to buy a package to get the rest of the information. But by the time you even got to that point, you've already given your information, not realizing what they've already done, which is collected your information, the principle of what they were trying to do anyways. So now they can retarget you because they knew you were interested. People 9 times out of 10 don't learn these conversations outside of some form of a school setting. That's not saying college, but I'm saying the average person, if you do not have that hustle in you, if you do not have that go get it to understand mentality, you need someone who's going to push you. That's why they have that whole sheep versus wolves mentality.
Okay. So let me be the secret Republican that I am, or that I'm becoming, right? I didn't learn sales and project management from school. I learned that out in the real world. I learned that from running a business, right?
But you got that hustle though.
And yes, you're right. But you're talking about a mentality that I got from going to stay with my pops in Detroit all those summers. And when it was too late for me to go get a job, he said, "Hey, go take these DVDs and go sell some." And so I got on the bus. I went to Fairlane Mall and started selling CDs and go like, "Oh, this is actually much easier than me, trying to go work for somebody else." Yes, but what you're missing is he got that information from his dad, who got that from his dad, because my grandfather's dad started a transportation business, and
generation hustlers.
Right, but the information passed down. But my great grandfather didn't get that information from a college. He was working on a tunnel between Detroit and Windsor Village in Canada. He saw somebody had a truck, said, "Oh, hey, who do you work for?" The guy said, "I work for myself." He saved up his money and went go did his. No one taught him that. He took a risk. It worked out, panned out very well, and information was passed down.
But that's the issue, though. Right. But hold on. That's not the truth. That information did come from some form of a, let's say, book, context, etc., that would have been taught on a collegiate level. He just did not need to achieve that information from that space because, again, he had the mentality to inquire. And that's the problem. When we look at why they say the 1% or the individuals who make it, the people who become the millionaires and the billionaires, a lot of them are either incredible hustlers, incredibly talented, narcissistic. They have some form of a self-image that makes them drive
narcissistic
a lot. Let's be
okay. Okay. I know where I see. Ooh, I've been around long enough. I know where you got that information from. I know who started that information because they're talking about these are the 3 traits of the super successful people. One of them,
but is it not true though?
It's not true. Ray Dalio I wouldn't say Ray Dalio is narcissistic.
Now, that's not saying that it's going to be applicable to every person. Don't get me wrong. No bit of information is applicable to every person.
I wouldn't say Robert F. Smith is narcissistic. I wouldn't say Don Peoples is narcissistic. Like I know there's plenty of billionaires in my head I can think of that are not narcissistic.
That you can think of are not narcissistic based on visual traits that they give. But at the same time, we can find millionaires, we can find other billionaires who are in that variable behavior.
But you're talking about a small percentage compared to a larger percentage.
But here's the trick. When we consider the 1% and just generalized behaviors, even if we take narcissism off the table, just that base principle of wanting to know more and wanting to execute and succeed, if we call that just hustle mentality, the average person, and we're not just saying in America, we can just say the average person, human experience, does not always execute that behavior successfully, which is what keeps them behind the wheel. In American capitalistic society, there's a reason why we have so many different societal classes, And there's a reason why we have circumstances that basically say, hey, if you don't go this pathway, you need to go this pathway. If
Okay.
you don't go the traditional school path, then you need to go a path that gives you the ability to hustle and find opportunities, but you have to have that mentality.
Okay, let me say something that I want to put out into the ethos, because this is something I've noticed for the past 3 years, especially with content creators from our culture, mainly hip hop and R&B. Right, I've noticed something, and the thing that I'm scared of is no one's going to call it out. So, like, I'm noticing I'm becoming like this sort of I'm becoming sort of like this person that's calling out things and becoming the first, kind of like the whole thing we said about TikTok. I'm not letting that go. I'm so glad we shot from the corner 45 feet and hit that all net and call
become a label
and call that. We called that last year. But what I want to say is this: what I'm noticing is content creators in hip hop and R&B, I'm noticing that they're taking the small percentage of people that are involved in our culture and giving it a worldwide view. I'm going to say this again. All because everybody from the streets rock with a certain artist doesn't mean everyone in the world rocks with a certain artist. I meant what I said on that TikTok. If Drake, Sam Smith, and Adele and Beyonce really made music for like the entire world, their first week they would have sold 100 million records. But that's not happening because everyone in the world, one, either doesn't have access, or two, they heard the music, doesn't vibe with it. There are people who genuinely do not like Beyonce's music or like Drake's music or such and such and such and such.
There's people who didn't like Michael Jackson's music. So I mean, that's a
what did DJ Alpine Embassy tell us all the time? Some people out there don't like Prince. That's a real thing.
Crazy,
so,
but it's real.
What's the word? Is it myopic? I don't want people to have a myopic. Is that right? I don't want people to have I don't want to have people a myopic view of the world, because what happens in a culture doesn't mean that's what happens all over the world. So yeah, you're right. But if you're going to say most millionaires or billionaires are narcissistic, but I have this wide range of people that I know off the top of my head I can name that are not narcissistic, most of those people are now involved in hip hop. It's just that in our culture, it's all about give me the attention and then you flip it and monetize it. But that does not mean that explains the entire world of millionaires in Texas alone.
No, but that definitely goes back to that whole old school concept of when we were in high school. And you remember that I used to talk about geeks, nerds, and then the popular kids. We've had this conversation before about who were actually considered successful outside of certain industry boundaries with regards to this thing called intellect. You know what I'm saying? And they became the quote unquote rock stars of the world because they utilized their intellect to change, even though in certain circumstances they perceived, or I'd say they were perceived as nobodies coming up. Yeah. And a lot of your millionaires and billionaires traditionally are those people, your CEOs, etc. Now you have your outliers, you know what I'm saying? You have those, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of the gentleman's name, was they used to be the CEO of T-Mobile, you know what I'm saying, who was a without question outlier, very, 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 very outspoken, popular, but smart gentleman, you know what I'm saying, who took them to the next level. At the same time, you look at Apple where you had your Tim Cooks, you know what I'm saying, whereas it's like, oh, okay, my guy talks, but not necessarily so much. He's very smooth, very calm with it, but gets the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tricky. I mean, but the honest truth is 9 times out of 10, if you run into somebody that has that type of money, they have more than likely some form level of talent, intellect, something that's pushing the envelope without question.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that not to be the devil. It doesn't mean that they're narcissistic,
no, you're fine.
Right?
Well, no, those individuals 9 times out of 10 aren't narcissistic in the sense that they didn't come up with the proper self-image to be narcissistic. They came up through the aspect of intellect, and they happen to have a skill set that allowed them to plow through everything else once they hit the right door.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You think about it. You graduate high school and you got straight A's and you're a tech genius. You go to what? MIT, RIT, et cetera, et cetera. But life doesn't dynamically become something for you until you get to the space known as this door. You know what I'm saying? MIT, and this is just saying in a general sense. I mean, it could have been Caltech, or it could have been no college. You
or
know
HCC, just saying.
Exactly. It's just a matter of you it's just a matter of finding that door that basically allows you to enter the world that you need to be in to find success. The problem is the average person spends so much time trying to figure out who they need to be that it's rare that they find that door that quantifies their level of success that they perceive they should have. It's the same thing with artists. If we take it back to our domain with regards to music, how many artists do you know? Because we had this conversation the other day, who actually understand what marketing is and what it is that they need, but they always keep coming up to the door of marketing because people keep telling them, oh yeah, man, you need to market your music. You need to market your music. But by the time they get to the door and they open it, it's like 50 different pathways. They don't know what to do at that stage. So
Yeah,
execution becomes hard.
yeah, but I'm gonna go back to you, and you're kind of saying that it's more of the practicality. They didn't get that from college, though.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it just all depends. So I can tell you an instance of some of the stuff I learned from college, you don't hear people talking about on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Even in the conversations, I mean, even in the classes that I'm studying right now with regards to communications and research, I don't find this stuff on YouTube because at the end of the day, the market value still is the game is to be sold, not told. So a lot of this stuff that you even hear on YouTube, quite honestly, is free information that's just basically amassed together and they're presenting it to you as a package and then presenting that package to you as something that's viable. Why? Because you didn't know this information existed. And they're doing you a service by pulling this information together, and you're doing them the service by watching and attempting to utilize it to see if it applies. But
So
that's not us. We get with the shit.
yeah, we really do. But so there's a video, this TikTok of a guy, forgot his name. But he says that the game is selling the knowledge gap, right? So, and this is something that we notice here, Room 380, with the artists that we I'm trying to get out of that habit of saying this the professional. In regards to the artists that we onboard, in regards to the artists that hire us to produce a single for them or an album, what we notice is a lot of these artists actually know what's up. They do want someone to do the work. So
That
they're
is also
paying us to
true.
doing the groundwork, right? Which is fine. Or they don't know, and we're educating them on that. Because our whole biggest thing or our business model is to set them up for success. Because,
Mhm.
and this is something that I talk to Theo about all the time, which is okay. So let me break this down. It's funny you bring this up. And Mark, because I want to hear your tidbit on it. What I notice in working with artists is there's no value in the beat. So if someone wants a Hanz Nobe beat, there's no value in the Hanz Nobe beat. It's almost nil. Because now, if you have an artist that have $25 or $40 or whatever, they can download FL Studio Mobile, make their own beat.
Mhm.
They can record vocals with like a mobile microphone. They can go send it to somebody on soundbetter.com, get it professionally mixed by some person that has like, such and such, Chris Favaro of Universal Music Group in Room 380, and they can put that stamp and then they can put it out there, and then they can go on Instagram, sign up for IG ads or professional account, put $50 a week to go promote the song, and they never had a computer. So even then, and this is sort of the problem that we saw when I was interning at Alto Music. Shout out to Miss Madley. Shout out to everyone over there at Alto Brooklyn. But they sell, like I said, my first internship in New York was with Alto Brooklyn, and we sold boutique music equipment. Like, yo, there's this vintage compressor from Germany, this at a 30, and sold for thousands of dollars, right?
Mhm.
But the issue is with artists having access to the mobile devices and being able to do everything, even with the beat, the value of the studio comes down. So if you have a multi-million dollar studio and you're like, yo, why don't you come over here and let's vibe out? Sure, the intrinsic value of them being in the room with you with access to music equipment to go make something has a value, but the actual studio itself by itself doesn't mean anything, because if the artist doesn't have money for studio time, they can do everything mobile. So what I discovered this year was if we provide a lot of value on the back end and we can sort of trace the artist's ROI, whether it's more exposure, whether it's setting up their business, setting up their music where they can monetize more, or whatever, that is what gets us in the door, and that's where people want to hire us and work with us. And that's how we've been able to keep the wheels running and keep revenue coming in, is because of that, right? So kind of, damn, I think I lost my point. I got on a rant about the businesses. So I forgot what I was about to say. Y'all know what I'm saying. Damn it. But that's what makes us different. I really forgot what I was about to say. But let's see what Marcus is talking about. Go ahead, Waze. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, be perfectly honest. The intrinsic value of the production itself is quite literally the production. At the end of the day, if I go to a club and I hear your lyrics and I don't hear a beat, your lyrics may be dope, but it's not necessarily going to make me move. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to get back to an understanding of what each job set and each functional role is when we're dealing with the creation of music. Because let's be all honest, yes, an artist can have a mobile studio, but 9 times out of 10, that's also what they complain about. Like 9 times out of 10, you'll have one artist who doesn't mind getting busy, but the average artist is not trying to go in there, record, produce, mix, and then have to go and consider the fact that, oh, I got to run these IG ads. By the way, you don't really know how to run IG ads because all you did was post an ad. But do you have a call to action? Do you have a functional placement? Do you understand what
Right.
this ad is doing? There's
Right.
so much that they need to know that even when they go to do all of this stuff, and this isn't me knocking any artist. I want anybody to hear this and think, oh, he talking down. Like, no, this is me being realistic in the sense that you shouldn't have to do all of this stuff. This is why they say build a team, put people in place. Rather if it be the people you came up with and you build an organization together, or you hire people. But you have to effectively understand each person, the craft that they're building, the thing that they're investing their time in. The value in itself is the time they're spending and the type of quality work they can present to you when it's all said and done. Because at the end of the day, if an artist says, well, I can go to producer over here who'll give me the beats for $50, producers can quite literally be on some DJ Khaled-ish and be like, well, let's see, I got all the beats. And if I use the artist mentality of this, I can go hire a rapper and singer over here, and I can basically work for hire them to rap over this beat. Or I can just say, all right, let's do the royalty split like this. I
Okay.
own this record, but now I'm gonna drop it like this.
Okay.
It can work both ways.
So let me, and this is I had to educate another producer on this. All right. So let's say you're working with an artist, right? Or let's say you're talking to an artist and you're talking about like you want to work with them and anything else, and then they're called objectives, right? So
Mhm.
in sales. So let's say an artist comes up to you, they're like, "Yo, yeah, but my man's giving me beats for free."
Mhm.
You never go against what the artist is saying, because what you need to understand is what the artist is telling you. They're not necessarily arguing you down and trying to bring down your value, because now you're taking it personal. You need to get your ego out of the window. What you need to do is look at what they're saying and then try to understand their perspective, because you can't read in other words, you can't redirect a vehicle if you don't get in the passenger seat. Does that make sense? So if they come up to you and it's like, yo, my man's giving me beats for free, that's like, oh, that's dope. That's your main producer. What I want to do is bring this. If I have all these beats, I can assist and help you make a record even faster or EP even faster. You need to be able to throw something back at them in regards to what they're telling you and give and provide value with that. So for instance, so if an artist said that to me, I would say, yeah, cool. That's your main producer. But what I'm providing is da 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 da. So let's work together. Matter of fact, get your producer on the phone and you make it to where it's a team effort rather than you just, hey, let me get in the door and let me get my money and bounce. Because
True.
the issue nowadays, especially now with the current climate of the economy, is artists nowadays have to see the ROI in their investments. We're no longer in the days of being able to spend $20,000 and just be done with it. It's like, well, that didn't work. Let's go to the next thing. Because even if you go to Clubhouse, right? So I don't know how many you guys saw in
Mm.
Clubhouse, but if you go to some of these VC rooms, these VCs are getting very conservative with their money because they see that there's something coming down the pipeline that everyone needs to get ready for. What used to be not to get too deep into it, but what used to be the tactic or the strategy of diversify and hold on. Now it's bring everything in, liquidate, and go into two or three things, and then hold on to that. So if you're an artist and you're noticing this, even on a street level, you're noticing like, yo, this person is releasing a lot of music, but I don't see them outside anymore, or this producer is only doing this, that, or this producer now doing DJing, live sound, and everything else. You see that you're going to be more conservative with your money, so you have to see the ROI on it. And as a producer, you have to be able to present that in regards to your business.
True. I mean, ROI is always the case. I mean, in any industry, someone wants to know what is going to be the return on my investment when I spend this. But see, here's the trick to that situation. As a producer, I mean, this can go either way when you're dealing with an artist. And technically, this can go either way as an artist dealing with another component. You as the individual who's approaching or being approached have the choice to say, hey, I'm going to offer all of these other available services, or I'm going to offer this as my primary service. And honestly, in circumstances, depends on your circle and or your industry, because there are instances where you have producers now who effectively, and when I say producers, I don't mean just general beat makers. And I'm not saying that to, how do you say, I know somebody will probably hear that and be like, oh man, you trying to shot us. No, I'm not shooting nobody in the foot. What I'm saying is, if you're not quote unquote in the studio producing the record in entirety, that's what I'm referencing in that sense. That particular person in that role set, making the beat, producing, etc. In that interest, that is your skill set outside of the aspect of saying, okay, let's now go to marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So depending on your industry, depending on your circumstances and the type of artist you're dealing with, you may not necessarily have to say, oh, my ROI comes in the investment of me helping you find all of these different fans. Because if we look at it from a label aspect, the ROI to the label is not picking you up and developing you as an artist anymore. It's you living in the social space on the battleground, finding the fans, and them putting the money behind you to say, we already see this existing record. Now let's put money behind the record and then verify, can you reproduce that single?
So that kind of brings me to you can tell I've been on TikTok a lot this week, right? Because I told you I was trying to, but no, I saw another TikTok. But so I'm in, there's two different TikToks that I'm in. It's music business and it's poetry, spoken word. I get into why I'm into that at a later date. But in regards, there's a guy, he was part of a band that got signed to Atlantic, and they had two choices: take an event and see if they can get put through their funnel and see if the music will stick, or hey, give us all the money that you're willing to give us, and you just get the back end. And so they took that option and said he said the reason why they did that was because if they took the first option and nothing worked, they would owe money. But since they took
Mhm.
the second option, it didn't matter if it didn't work or not. They got the money up front. And I was like, damn, okay, well that makes sense, right? But like I said, it's the main problem in being an artist, right? Because I want to come from that perspective. The main problem with being an artist is if I have all these tools, because we see it all the time. We spoke to somebody, I think it was 3 weeks ago. He was just like, "Bro, I'm tired." I spoke to another artist from New Jersey. He's like, "Bro, I am tired of handling the admin, doing the socials, running the ads, making the music, mixing, mastering, and this, that, and the things of life. Fam, I just want to make the music." So we understand that if you provide that infrastructure, sort of the Marcus Banks is saying here, that the
Mhm.
artists are going to want to sign on to you, right? Which is dope, which is great. And you have to be good at it. I want to make sure I preface that. We do sit down in the trenches and A/B test a lot of stuff. Trust me, between me and Waze, we go through a lot of information, make sure we're doing this correctly. With that being said, if you are an artist again and you have all these resources and you want to get the money and you not sure what direction you need to go, taking it back to what we said before, which is it's not just a Mamba mentality and everything else, but you really need the skills. So when
Mhm.
I don't know what episode I said that, but when I was really going on the doors and hey, I got this mixtape. I was last episode. Hey, I got this mixtape, slam. And then I knocked on the next door and then slam and I knocked on the next door. Yeah, that may have been embarrassing at first, but what it did was it helped me acquire the skill to
Mhm.
go sell and go make more music. But that's the whole thing of what I was saying before, which is it's not necessarily you need a college course and no disrespect to Full Sail, Media Tech, anything like that, but or Berkeley, whatever. But there's a practicality part that I feel gets overlooked, and then I'm off of it.
No, I mean, most definitely. I mean, there's oh, how do I say this? When it comes to what you will learn in school versus what you may learn on the streets, because information evolves all the time, there is going to be a real world scenario that's going to be missed in the classroom, depending on how fluid the curriculum is.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Is this a situation where the curriculum can be adjusted based on real world scenarios, or is it locked in? If it's
yeah,
locked in, then the only way that that circumstance is going to change is when you present something to your professor and say in the moment, hey, is this something we can talk about because it applies in this capacity X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm saying? If that is not a mentality that you have as an individual to seek that information, then yeah, you're going to miss that opportunity. But at
Yep.
the same time, that's in any industry. You know what I'm saying? In any circumstance of knowledge, when you have books will be 5 years old and be 5 years ahead of its time. So the information you're reading in that moment, you know what I'm saying, may be considered old, but 5 years ago, this was cutting edge, circumstantially leading you into the direction of why why said person became that multimillionaire. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's like it's tricky like that. But that's
Yeah.
the benefit of video and why people watch videos so much, because versus writing a book and having to get it through authorship, validated, grammatically checked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Somebody can jump on a live on Facebook and be immortalized in 15 seconds, say something that changes the industry forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's
He
that's the
he would be
uh,
I.
hey, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, also, I see a lot of you guys. I think we there's a lot. We get a lot of eyes. Hey, if y'all are listening, and please hit like and share, because it's a lot of you creepers. Like and share, man. I'm looking at the eyeballs and views. I'm like, yeah, we're getting a lot of views, but I don't see a lot of likes. Show us some love. All right, what you want to get into today, man? What do you want to start with?
So, matter of fact, drop them topics to us one more time so people can get vibe in with us. They might
Yeah.
give us a
Okay.
insight on what they want.
Okay, y'all can vote. So we're looking at either major labels looking at superstar artists as investments, or WorldStar distribution service that they're getting ready to release, or Meek Mill trying to find a new way to release an album. I think I already know what this demographic wants to vote for. So, um,
You know, the funny thing, I
yeah,
was about to say he's doing this Kanye West, you know what I'm saying, with the STEM player type situation. But then at the same time, I almost feel like I cussed. It's like the situation is just going that crazy right now. It's just like, it's like, darn it, Kanye.
So,
I'm just gonna
we'll never know. It's funny you bring that. We'll never know if Kanye really said everything that he said because he's trying to get free from those deals, or if he really did drop the ball, lose his mind, drop the ball, and now he's trying to make up for it, he's trying to save face. We'll never know, because whatever. If y'all don't pick, I already know where I want to start. So I'm gonna give y'all about 20 more seconds. Y'all let me know what subject you guys would like us to start with.
like, you want to get the conversation popping.
Yeah, man. Let us know in the comments. Superstar investments, WorldStar distribution, or Meek Mill's trying to release a new album, or Meek Mill trying to find a new way to release an album. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
Why?
man.
Why is thank you, WorldStar distribution? See, I knew what y'all want to talk about. Wait, why is WorldStar trying to create a distribution company, and it's almost 2023 and they've been around since I was a sophomore in college? What's happening?
So I can't say this like I have an inside plug, like I know what's really going on. This is just pure speculation. But principle, I think it's a matter of time. I mean, they see what the industry is doing. Everything is going digital. I mean, people will be like, oh, well, it already went digital. It's like it went digital in the sense of streaming services, but now we're trying to transition to that next stage, that Web3. And the money is at this point in distribution services, in getting content up, because most of these distribution services are now becoming marketing firms. They're not just saying, hey, let's put your music up. It's, hey, let's put your music up. Also, let's give you this sync deal. Also, let's get you this album cover done. Also, let's give you this card that you can promote. Oh, you need a video? We can help you with that too. Use this free such and such content and we'll pop it on through Facebook, we'll pop it through Instagram, and guess what? You can also send it through Twitter, Snapchat, wherever you want to go. Literally, at the moment, all of these companies started transitioning the marketing behaviors. It just made sense for a company like WorldStar to do it because they're I won't say number one, they're one of the biggest marketing firms with regards to hip hop and culture outside of these individuals that you see on YouTube, like your Cole Bennett's. So I
Okay.
mean, it's an easy money make.
Okay. So let me say my piece on here. Because I want to get into this. And Marcus Banks said it. He hit it right on the head. He said reactive instead of proactive. 100%. Let me get into this. Ways we just had a whole hour conversation about how we no longer just sit up and sell beats, and that how we pretty much had to convert to an artist and label services company, right? And we said the
Mhm.
reason why is because There's no intrinsic value of the beat or really going to the studio, this, and the third. You know what that's called? That's called evolving. You know why we did it? I said it, I kind of said it at the beginning of the conversation, which is after talking to hundreds of artists, we noticed, right? So which means that we're out in the
Oh, most
marketplace, we're
definitely.
out in the trenches and everything else, and we're noticing this. So my question to the WorldStar team, and I'm not knocking them at all, but what my question is, why now? Why is WorldStar, if they are for the culture, is like, hey guys, we have a crypto, coin,
Which
we have an
crashed.
NFT. It's going to pick back up. We've seen this before. Anyone who's done any sort of investments whatsoever, when the blood in the streets, you buy. Trust me, we're all buying like crazy. And then by the end of 2023, it's going to be like, oh man, you guys are geniuses. Yeah, we're
That's what
idiots
happened to
now.
GameStop.
Yeah, we're idiots now for investing money into this. But by the end of 2023, 24, all of a sudden we're geniuses. But anyway, with that being said, why is WorldStar not pushing? And I know you don't have any insight and information, but I'm just curious, like, we're just guessing, right? And just theory. Why is WorldStar not pushing the envelope and what they can do? Why are they trying to? This is 2010. This is 2010, 2011, 2012 behavior. Why are they trying to get distribution now? This is not even late. Like with
Well,
the
I
school
mean,
buses on the other side of town.
so one, you have to consider anytime you enter a new market, what's your competition? You know what I'm saying? So in the sense of competition, you also have to consider, okay, how competitive can I be in this market? And based on my existing audience, how much of my existing audience can I get to convert? Or how much of my existing audience is already in another place? If you think publicly, we have what, TuneCore, DistroKid, CD
CD
Baby
Baby,
in 2022.
United Masters,
Yeah, they are the new up and comers as far as large names in the industry.
up
You know
and
what I'm saying?
comers.
What I'm saying is considering how long TuneCore, CD Baby, and stuff have been out. And then when we consider how many other distribution services have also been out, they skyrocketed over a lot of names. You know what I'm saying? With regards to niche
Oh, okay,
services.
okay.
So that's why I don't say up and comers to be disrespectful. I say it in the sense that we're talking about a 5-year window with regards to how long they've been in the market doing what they're doing, compared to the quote unquote sharks in the water.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And even within a 3-year window, you think about it, they went from doing distribution to now they went distribution, sync, and they're doing the thing that people aren't doing, which is production.
But my
Well,
question still,
minus BeatStars.
but my question still stands. Even if you with the Harry Fox agency out in New York, they could do the same thing. Like I don't I don't understand like what do they, because I went to the website, like I don't see anything different. This is the title, Amazon, Apple Music.
But the question is, do
Spotify.
they have the two questions we have to say is, one, is it beneficial for them to do something different? And two, how slow is our industry? Now remind you,
we're not doing that.
Hold on. Think about it. Now let's be honest. Tech industry, music industry. There's a difference. There's a reason why Spotify came in and whooped everybody's behind, even though Apple had control of the music market digitally for years. You know what I'm saying? When we consider, think about it. If you look at the major players with regards to music and technology, rather if it be from licensing, if it's from registration, if it's from digital information like allmusic.com, you know what I'm saying? Think about how functional these systems are and how much they've changed over time. So when you get to a certain size and you don't have competition in certain capacities, you don't have the necessity to innovate in the way that people think you should innovate.
Okay,
it's quite literally. No, think about it. They're doing it with Ticketmaster right now. That Taylor Swift situation now just caused the circumstance to where they're literally looking at.
But these two are not related, and not related.
But they are.
But
they
they're
are
not
related.
So let me tell you why. If you went to Complex Con out in LA, right out here in LA, if you like, even if you go to South by Southwest, tech and music has always been together since the beginning of South by Southwest. They've always been
technically
intertwined.
Technology has been with music since the inception of technology, and music is just the variables.
Okay,
what you're trying to say.
What I'm saying is WorldStar, I believe WorldStar has more than enough people in the network to have a phone conversation. Hey, we want to do something new. You can sit down. There are tech people who are, again, on Clubhouse, who are just sitting, wait with these ideas, waiting for a possible client. Say, hey, yo, I know how to do this, right? So my question is, with them, I know that they have that network. Why are they not going that way? This is
But
way super late.
and I'm telling you from a communication standpoint, you have to ask yourself, why do they need to? I'll give you a perfect example.
But I can tell you why.
Okay.
I can tell you why. I believe that they need to, because the old model distribution is going to fall at some point. And what I mean at some point, I mean within the near future.
It's
Right?
already fallen though.
Okay, so if
Think
we
about
know
it.
that, then why not go ahead of the curve? Why are you,
Because
you're
they're
already jumping
already
on that sinking
there.
ship?
There, you got to remember, it went from, remember what I just said about United Masters. Within a 5-year window of them still getting into that existence, that 5-year situation, they went from distribution to now distribution, and we're dealing with sync licensing, from distribution and sync licensing with the NBA to now dealing with what? We're doing production, we're selling beats. This is their avenue. They went into production by way in the sense of a marketing behavior. They're now saying, oh, this is what we were doing with distribution. We're also going to give you this smart link so you can promote. All these tech companies came in distribution and started marketing because they saw the advent of what would happen with artists if they provided that service. They're coming from marketing going into distribution. So they're not behind in the sense of what these companies are already doing on the base level. They have the biggest marketing circumstance out of every distribution service right now, simply because they have their own network of being able to put a video out and saying, hey, if we really put the work in, we can get you 1 million plus hits. No question. That'll then translate over to other services.
But if they know what we know, which I'm pretty sure they do, WorldStar was used to get views on YouTube, right? Because they would embed your video and everything, and you can have views on WorldStar as well.
And that's another problem right there. People weren't actually running codes to actually get paid off of those views. That's nothing. You have a whole other circumstance of what's not being done in the industry that hasn't been done for years, and we still ask why.
Okay, so that proves your point in regards to music moving like a B2B space. Totally fine, totally get that. But here's a point that I'm trying to make. If you look at the current state of music now in regards to technology, everyone is trying to get away from the old model. So if you know that, and what was considered new is not considered old now, then you know the money is within innovation. If WorldStar has eaten up the hood or the street market, right? Then I would push, this is me, but I would push to say, okay, let's get ahead of the curve, because again, we know the indies, we know the streets always create like the new thing, right? Because necessity breeds innovation. So why not get with all these artists? Why not get with even the drill artists and try to do something new with them and say you want to do it for the culture, get them out of the streets and like become a tech company? That would make more sense.
Okay. I got a perfect question for that. So let's look at Spotify, the ultimate music technology company in modern day that is progressive for the artist. When you go to an artist Spotify page, what do you really see?
Say that one more time.
When you go to a random artist Spotify page, and we're not talking about somebody who's powered behind a label, we're talking about the average artist. What do you see?
Got you. The major artists.
Yeah, but let's think about it. If you look at a regular artist, just I'm dropping music. We're talking about Spotify. Remember that article I showed you that basically said how Spotify views actual credible artists. And the vast majority of the artists on their platform did not qualify by Spotify standards. Rather, if it be monthly plays on a specified record, behaviors with regards to their profiles. When we're talking about profiles, we're talking about, let's see, functions of adding merch. They had started adding that whole Clubhouse feature, you know what I'm saying, with regards to artists being able to actually interact with their fans in Spotify live in real time. They add features like it's no tomorrow once they show and prove, or if another platform comes up that holds an interest and they can get around a patent, you know what I'm saying? And here we go. This is what they're about to do. It's for the culture. But the average artist, and this is no knock, but it's what you already said. The average artist gets tired of doing all of these different things. So yeah, the innovation is there, but who is really about to spend that time getting innovative? It's the outliers. So if the average individual on these platforms, per what they're quantifying, aren't actually doing the services that they're providing, then these other companies have no incentive to get busy.
But I'm no business strategist, right? But even I can see you already have the market share you already have a business model who works. It's a low tier business model, right? Which
Who's their demographic though?
The streets.
That's the question. But that's the point. Are the streets out here trying to get innovative, or are they just trying to focus on the views that's going to get them out the streets? Name street artists that you know right now that sit here and have the type of conversations that we're having, and give me 20 of them. Give me 20 solid of them.
I can name the leading one, NLE Chopper.
But again, powered, as in he put himself in a position, and that brother's smart. Shouts out to him.
Okay, but fine. I hear everything you're saying, but let me bring it to this point. If you know you have the market share, you have a business model that works. It's a low tier business model, right? So let's say,
didn't he start with United Masters? Just for the record, pretty sure he started with United Masters.
I don't know, but let's say, for instance, like they've lost 60% of their revenue, right, and they're down to that 40%. You still have time to sit there and test the idea and become an actual tech company. WorldStar, if you guys are listening, because like I said, we'll put this on all DSPs and YouTube. Guys, you guys are a tech company now. You're no longer just a website. You're a tech company now. So if you know that, then go partner with the people in Silicon Valley. Trust me, there are plenty of people who still listen to mixtapes. This kind of goes back to the whole thing what I said about DatPiff. Like the reason why DatPiff is still around is someone there was smart enough to know that at some point someone wants to come buy the entire catalog of mixtapes for millions and millions and millions of dollars, because somebody knows that the street artists are not smart enough or don't know their value, and they'll come and they'll buy someone's entire mixtape catalog for like $5,000 and go put in the next Tyler Perry movie and go make millions off of it. I still believe that's why DatPiff is still around, but that's just me.
Let me ask you this. Let's take a look at the video giant of video giants, YouTube. How long did it take YouTube to evolve? We had years of issues with them with regards to paying artists. Then we finally started getting them into licensing. Then they finally started monetizing. Then after finally monetizing, they locked it in a situation where you had to have 1,000 subscribers. So they started adjusting. Now think about what they're doing now with shorts. Why did they incorporate that?
I hear you. Not to cut you off, and I'll let you have it. But YouTube is an outlier because they're the monster in this space.
But that's what I'm saying. But they're literally a conglomerate. There's no one that beats YouTube with what they do, and that's the same thing with a lot of these other systems.
But you're trying to compare WorldStar and YouTube. Who's YouTube competitor outside of Vimeo?
Oh, Netflix. That's the closest it's going to get.
That's the closest, and that's a behemoth. WorldStar, you have all these different competitors, so YouTube can take their time. WorldStar, you don't have that. So instead of trying to,
they have the streets, as you said. Think about it. You just mentioned that they've been around for as long as they have. Right. WorldStar can fall in that niche argument and still do the same thing.
But if you have an untapped market, if you know you have a market that's untapped, then become the innovator. Because if I'm a street artist from A-Leaf, or I'm from, what is this? Long Beach, and I want to go distribute my music, I'm not gonna go through you. I'll go through United Masters or whoever does, or whoever has the most IG ads that gets me to convert.
But that's the problem, though. Even with the aspect of having the most IG ads, it's like you convert, but it doesn't do anything because most of these jokers don't even write down their RSRC codes for it to translate. It's so much to it that it just does not get done.
But that's what I'm saying. It's an untapped market. You can do whatever you want with it. So if you know that your main customer doesn't have the education to go do this, you can monetize education and go do something innovative.
Like they did that with Song Trust. They give information like there's no tomorrow, and people still somehow miss that beat.
I hope Song Trust is cutting you a check. You say their name in every single one of our podcasts. But what I'm saying is,
it's just been a minute.
But no, in regards to like the funnels, like you were saying before, they have tiers. They have tier 1 be the basic distribution, have tier 2 be the education, have tier 3 be like the NFT. Like you can take this up the notch. What I'm saying is, if I'm over here and I'm making beats, playing the piano and stuff, and I'm looking at the side of my periphery and go, oh, they could do something better than that. How is it? And I just want to know that I can see that while I'm over here trying to play everything in A minor, because that's the only A minor, C major, because those are the two scales that I really know how to play. And I can see that. Why is it that they don't, is what I am asking.
Oh, it's not that they don't see it. Again, I'm telling you, going in these communication classes, it's not that these companies don't see. You got to remember, they have people who survey and give ideas all the time. The trick is, is it going to be beneficial? How fast can they scale it? And is it worth the scale? A lot of these companies move in their own time because they already have things they want to do. I give you a perfect example. Someone else who's basically a shark in the water of their own market, Sound Exchange, in the sense that in the US market, there's not really another digital PRO that's going to track records with regards to Pandora and SiriusXM. You know what I'm saying? But how many artists do you have to have that conversation with regards to, hey, are you tracking your money here? It may or may not be a lot of money, depending on if you get spins over here, but it's the principle that your money exists. Now, they also give information like no tomorrow with regards to what they will and won't do. If you log into their systems, they're innovative because they got all types of internal platforms and internal forms that you can sign with regards to various revenue points and who's getting paid, how they're getting paid, etc. But again, probably the only thing in the US market that's in their space outside of traditional PROs. And even when you deal with traditional PROs, no knock to them, but they're effectively slow. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to getting things done, they are great at what they do without question, but it takes time. And sometimes that time is just based on volume that they're dealing with. And in other instances, that time is just based on saying, is this the money, the amount of money is going to take for us to put into this feature to make it work the way we want it to work? Is it viable? You know what I'm saying? And other situation that people forget about is that you deal with shareholders. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the type of company. So it's a matter of saying, okay, are we going to be able to pull this off when we run to the board? When we pull out this email to our shareholders, is there going to be a vote and they all of a sudden say no? There's a lot of dynamics with a lot of these large scale companies that kind of say if they will or if they won't. Some things are adopted at a ratio faster than others because they see how it's flying. For example, that whole shorts aspect, you know what I'm saying, that was picked up through YouTube. You know what I'm saying? That was going through Instagram. That was going through Facebook. When they had stories, that was something that was picked up. Now everything that TikTok does is picked up because TikTok has an algorithm that's mean. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to discovery. So I mean, it's the same thing with Clubhouse. Clubhouse came out. No one was checking for audio like that. You know what I'm saying? They found a niche situation with regards to business entities who can have real-time conversations about what's really going on in the market space. And next thing you know, people are wanting to add that feature into their platforms, Spotify and Twitter, and seeing how it effectively works in their platform because they see the viability of it. Oh, Twitter can do spaces and have these same conversations with their existing market space, similar to Clubhouse. Oh, Spotify can do the exact same thing with artists and their fan base where they can do these chat rooms from the 90s. That's still a thing. People still want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes it's not a matter of being the most innovative. It's a matter of what can actually be brought to scale financially and say people are going to effectively use it long term, not short term. I'm telling you, think about it. When you look at these distribution companies, you have them. TuneCore was a distribution company. You know what I'm saying? They got into synchronization
and
You know what
evolved.
I'm saying?
But
Exactly. Best believe.
but that's proving my point though. That's what I'm not gonna
But
get
they
into.
evolved within that same market space. So it principally made sense for
Then
them to
how
say,
come
well, we're a
WorldStar
distribution
isn't doing the
company.
same? That's what I'm saying.
Because they're just getting in the market. They're just putting their feet in the water to say, is this going to work?
I'm off it. I'm off it. I'm off it. I'm done. All right. All right. And Marcus, he kind of just what I said, like episode 1, which he said, then they form another company with the capital. That kind of goes back to the shell companies that a lot of your major label companies are forming. So
Did you say Swiss bank account?
SPAC, SPAC. There's shell companies that are made in like Switzerland and the Cayman Islands that are being used to finance your major labels because they're trying to make up for that revenue that they lost. So it goes back to what I'm saying is when you sign with the major label, are you really signing with the major label, or are you signing with the shell company, or are you signing with the company that owns the shell company? So it gets deep.
Yep.
With that being said.
Oh, happy belated Turkey Day, I guess we'll say, you know what I'm saying, for the holiday, if you celebrate.
I'm pretty sure our demographic does not celebrate Turkey Day. I've talked to most of them, like DMs and text messages and online or in the comments. Most of them, I can guarantee, they're not really celebrate Turkey Day. They celebrate with their family, but they themselves don't celebrate.
That's what I'm saying. You just getting your eat on, you know what I'm saying,
That's
going out
it.
to show love to the people.
All right, that is it. I've said enough. Waves that made me frustrated. I'm not gonna reopen that because I said what I said. I meant what I said. But Waves, go ahead and close this out, man.
It's a simple situation. You know what I'm saying? Keep rocking with us. Room 380. We're here to add value to your culture, add value to your business, and make things move in your favor. So if you need anything, hit us up on room380.com. You can catch us on any social media. You can catch the podcast on pretty much any platform that hosts podcasts and or presents podcast like sounds. Shout out to the audience for everyone that's rocking with us this evening, anyone that's rocked with us before, and anyone that's going to rock with us in the future. We truly love you and appreciate your time. Peace.
Shout out damn, I didn't say you could close. Wait a minute. Shout out to Killer Vic Beats. Congratulations on damn it. On the song you produced, getting in the top 40 on the Apple iTunes charts. That's amazing. Shout out to you. Shout out to Marcus Banks. Shout out to TJ Foster. Shout out to Jill Rican. Shout out to the Joint Cheese. Shout out to everyone who chimed in today and commented. We definitely appreciate the love, the support. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.